For the moment, let's talk about what's happening in the Crimean waters. An old European powder keg is heating up. Two Cold War adversaries, one volatile stretch of sea, and two contrasting versions of what unfolded. First, let me introduce the key players, Russia and Britain, two countries that live in forever suspicion of each other. On Wednesday, they were locked in a standoff. Why? Because a British warship sailed near Crimean waters. You can see it on this map here. This is sensitive territory for Russia. They annexed the Crimean Peninsula in 2014. It immediately backfired. Russia was booted from the G8 and Western sanctions followed. So for Russia, Crimea is sovereign territory. But for the West, it is an occupation. These competing claims clashed on Wednesday. Britain says it was innocent passage, a straight line route from Ukraine to Georgia. But for Russia, it was a blatant provocation. We have pieced together the events leading up to the Black Sea standoff. Right from the warship's arrival in Ukraine, take a look at this.
Their posture will likely be more belligerent because of our proximity to what they recognise as their waters.
So we're straight into the thick of it. We're going to action stations now, just to bring us up to a higher state of readiness.
So Russia claims it fired warning shots at the British ship. The UK denies this ever happened. Since the Cold War, Russia has never admitted to firing at a NATO ship. It's been nearly 3 decades. So why did Moscow feel the need to do so this time? Why did it feel threatened this time? A couple of reasons. Number one, this wasn't just any warship. It was HMS Defender, a Type 45 destroyer. The ship was loaded with a surface-to-air missile system, a helicopter weapons system, and multiple medium-caliber guns, enough for a big fireworks show. The Defender is part of the Carrier Strike Force, the same one that will soon reach the South China Sea. So from a Russian perspective, here was a hostile warship 9,000 kilometers from home. Reason number two, this standoff was years in the making. Russia is surrounded by NATO states. They now have an indulging US president. And to the southwest, Ukraine is clamoring to enter the NATO. President Vladimir Putin feels Europe is ganging up on him. His natural reaction was to act out, to see how far he can push the West. And this wouldn't be a first. Putin did the same in Georgia, in Crimea, and then recently in eastern Ukraine. Question is, has he gotten away with it? Within hours, Moscow summoned the British ambassador. They accused the warship of violating UN maritime laws. So how is London reacting? They're surprisingly docile, trying to downplay the episode. They say no warning shots were fired, and as for the Russian jets tailing them, it is apparently common practice. Listen to this.
I don't think there were warning shots. There was a gunnery exercise that was taking place, and it's not uncommon for the Russians to do this in this area, and therefore the incident's not particularly abnormal in that sense.
Not abnormal, he says. Animosity to Russia, though, is a Churchillian trait. Every British government inherits it. And in recent years, bilateral ties have collapsed. In 2018, Russia was implicated in the Salisbury poisoning. They've also been accused of multiple cyber attacks on Britain. So why is London suddenly giving Moscow a pass? Could be a case of choosing its battles. Britain's new frontier is not the Black Sea. It is further east. The Carrier Strike Force intends to sail through the South China Sea. But this double standard could come back to haunt Britain. How can they challenge China's illegal claims after ignoring Russia's? For the moment, at least, it's a moral victory for Moscow. They've dropped bombs around a British warship, and London's reaction was, don't overreact. Vladimir Putin has displayed his appetite for conflict. It's a waiting game to see if Europe is ready. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.